We're at our secret garage and test facility. We are going to be looking at the 2018 Hyundai Elantra. The Elantra comes in two modes. You can have the four-door sedan with a rear trunk, which is my preference. Or we have the Elantra GT hatchback, which is what we see here. Simply raise the hatch and you get 25 cubic feet of storage space. More storage space under the floor, including a compact spare tire. Lots of room under there. So we'll close the hatch and take a look at the styling. A decent looking vehicle from the side view. Ordinarily I wait till the end of the video to show the price tag, but this is such a bargain I think I'm going to show it to you straight up front. Especially since we have the window sticker right here. The base price of an Elantra is $20,350. The only option we had was $125 for our floor mats. And here's a list of all the standard goodies you get. AM/FM stereo, air conditioning, power windows and locks. Here's the total bill, $21,360. Pretty reasonable price considering all the goodies you're getting. By the way, you're purchasing a vehicle that was actually made in Korea, not some oddball place, which explains the excellent build quality. As always, one of the first things we do when we get a vehicle is take the headlights out in the dark and see how they perform, so we'll do that right now. It's dark enough. Let's check out the lights and see what happens. Oops. Guess we'll have to restart them. Here we have the low beam setting on a wall 100 feet away. Bright enough for city driving. Go to high beams. Looks bright enough to me. Here we have a building 300 feet away with a chain link fence in between, with the lights on bright. Pretty decent spread. Go low beam. Certainly enough for city driving. Overall, very nice headlights. Now that summer is out, cars have a tendency to get hot depending on the paint color you get. And in my videos in the near future, we're going to take my temperature gun and start testing the paint and see how well they reflect the heat. We're going to do that right now. It's 90 degrees outside. We'll test this white car first. 99 degrees. This silver car next. 106 degrees. And now this red paint. 121 degrees. And for our little black Elantra, only 142 degrees. Which is why I've been telling people in my videos for years, if you live where the sun's out, don't get a black car. They do it anyway and have to learn the hard way when they roast their butt off. If you live where it rains or snows, you won't have the heat problem, but then you have another problem that's keeping this thing clean. I just washed this the other day and it is filthy. I can actually write my name in it. I'm not picking on Hyundai here. They make different colors. Other manufacturers make different colors as well as black. I'm just showing you so you can make an intelligent choice. When you go down to the dealer's lot and don't get stuck with something you'll be sorry you got. So let's get to the vehicle itself and look under the hood. A 2.0 liter, 162 horsepower, rated at 24 mpg in the city, 32 on the highway with overall 27 mpg. Transmission is 6-speed manual or the 6-speed automatic like we got. There's an optional 1.6 turbo putting out 201 horsepower, available with a 6-speed manual or 7-speed automatic. It's not only quicker, but the fuel economy is better, but you'll have to fork up around 25 grand to get that engine. There's also an Eco engine that's available in the base Elantra for your $17,000 price. A 1.4 liter putting out 128 horsepower, but that's a whole different video. The second row seats are adequate for 2 full-size adults. The government says this is a 3-passenger seat. In this class, it never is. These seats do fold down by the weight, which gives you 55 cubic feet of space in the rear if you're hauling gear. The materials used in the cabin, nothing fancy, but more than adequate, very sturdy, high quality, no complaints. We get an excellent large glove box, but that's only because I took out the owner's manual stuff and put it in the door jab. Lots of room in here. Like many Hyundai vehicles, the sun visors do not slide back and forth to block out the sun. That's the bad news. The good news is they do give you a tab that slides out, so I'll forgive them. It works. This is a very nice climate control system. Easy to use. Fan speed, temperature, a few knobs, that's it. We have a manual emergency brake located between the seats. Some people don't like that. I do. The usual cup holders. And by the way, I know I'm going to get some emails saying, hey, your car is filthy on the inside, but we had dust storms all week. I vacuumed out. Next day, all the dirt and sand is in here. Nothing I can do about it, folks. That's what happens when you live in the desert. Your car gets dirty. Some large 12-volt outlets. You get a drive mode button next to the transmission shifter, normal or sport mode. A nice gauge cluster with lots of useful information. Thus far, my city driving, 24.5 mpg. I'm told this is an 8-inch display screen. This looks about right. Easy to use. A medium-sized console in between the seats to keep your lotto tickets, with the winning numbers, of course. Get some map pockets on the rear seats. I've driven a lot of Hyundai vehicles, and it's pretty hard to find complaints about the cabins because the factory's done a pretty good job of copying all the good features of other vehicles. And I really have no complaints about this one. Hyundai says they hired some BMW engineers, one in particular that used to work on the M series, to breathe some life into the GT. Well, let's take it out and see if that's true. With 160 horses, pulling around 2,900 pounds, I don't expect to lay a bunch of rubber here, but let's punch the throttle. Quick enough. Quiet enough. Very nice brakes. This electric power steering isn't perfect, but far above average. Decent feel and response. I can certainly live with it. We're going to test the impact quality by running over some speed bumps around 20 to 30 miles per hour. As we always do. Bump number 1. That was pretty firm. Number 2. 30 miles per hour. Number 3. And here comes the nasty one. By the way, the rattling noises you heard on the speed bumps, that is not the car falling apart. It's all this loose stuff I have in my toolbox today. Just for the record. I know I should have taken it out, but got nowhere else to put it today. Sorry. I want to stress a few points. The speed bumps only give you the impact noise that you get when you're hitting a pothole or something like that. It doesn't necessarily reflect the ride quality in everyday driving. In fact, I've driven this on the city streets for several days, and unless you're hitting a real nasty pothole, the ride quality is above average, and I really have no complaints. The GT is available with a Sport Performance suspension, which gives heavy-duty sway bars and bigger wheels and tires. I haven't tried that, and I don't know how the ride quality is on that particular type of vehicle. but this one is acceptable as far as I'm concerned. Even though we don't have the sport suspension package, let's take the turning circle and see if this thing sticks to the pavement. Doing pretty good, no tire squeal. Now let's really press it. Very impressive. Must be some of that BMW engineering we got from that BMW engineer. On the expressway, this is a very comfortable car to drive, although there is a lot of thumping coming up from those tires. Like I said, on impacts you do hear a bit more than normal, but it's no big deal. For the next 3 days, I'm going to take 4 highway trips to get the fuel economy off this rig. You might want to stay tuned and see what we got. I've been driving this vehicle for 5 days now. My mixed fuel economy commuting is around 24 mpg. My freeway driving at around 70 miles per hour is 32 to 33 mpg, which is pretty close to what the EPA claims. And I would say it's a very good figure. I'm told if you load the Elantra GT up with all the options like the turbo engine, the sport suspension, you'll be up to around 27, 28 grand, but I think this base vehicle at 21 grand is just as good for daily driving and certainly a super value. If you're looking for a good hatchback with lots of interior room, this is certainly worth a look.